this vehicle actually goes 60 miles an hour, and
pedaling,
and you pedal it. It's pretty amazing. Automation, automation threatens 800 million jobs, Bitcoin billionaires, and much more today on the Tech Ranch. So we got all kinds of great topics to talk about. At the control panel, producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh.
How did I miss out on the Bitcoin thing?
I'm wondering the same thing myself.
Yeah.
You know, I know when it first came out, Jim, I was like, you know, you could get them for a couple of bucks right away. And
I remember thinking maybe I should invest in this, but I didn't really have any money.
I think everybody thought it was a scam. I mean, for the most part, I shouldn't say everybody, because obviously people invested in it.
Yeah.
And the people we're going to be talking about a little bit later, when they came into it, it was $130 a coin. Mm-hmm. And they invested $11 million into it at the time. They are now billionaires because of it.
Bazillionaires.
And you think about this. I mean, even if you bought 10 of them, you'd have $100,000 in the bank right now.
That's right.
That's pretty amazing. So anyway, so I know you like newspapers, right?
I do.
You're probably like, you know, I used to read them like crazy. I would my Sunday ritual for a couple decades was grabbing the Sunday paper from many locations. I mean, I would read the Minneapolis paper. I'd read the New York Times. I'd read the Bismarck Tribune. I mean, that was my Sunday thing, right?
I used to get the Times mainly for the crossword.
Okay.
They got that big, giant crossword in there every Sunday in the magazine.
Yes. So now, of course, with the Internet, the newspaper industry has changed dramatically. And I know you've gone to websites where sometimes you're trying to get to an article and they won't even let you get in unless you have a subscription.
Well, the Washington Post is terrible in that regard.
Right. So the New York Times, and this is why I want to bring this up, they're revamping their plan right now. So right now, if you go to the New York Times, you get 10 articles a month. So they cookie you on your browser, and you're allowed 10 articles a month that you can read for free, okay? They're dropping it to 5. And I'm just curious how you feel about that, and since you're kind of a news junkie. So
well, in my line of work, of course, since I do news here and I do a talk show, I need access to a lot of news and information, and it does make it frustrating when you got to go behind all kinds of firewalls to get. They should have a special arrangement for guys like us, journalist types,
and maybe they do, you know. But I'm just thinking, as the average consumer, you know, forget the fact that sometimes we get special privileges to access to things because we do sometimes. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I know when I go to CES sometimes, I shouldn't say sometimes, when I'm at CES, I get all kinds of crazy access.
Yeah, they usually give you a little gift
to.
Bag there of all kinds of goodies.
That but the bigger thing is the ability to see people that maybe the average person couldn't see before the interview or whatever. That's what I enjoy about kind of what I do here, I guess. But I get very frustrated when I go to these websites. I Google something and I want to read about something, and I go there and they don't give me access to it unless I subscribe. Yeah. You know, so I'm not sure. The challenge that I know the newspapers have is that I'm sure they have dwindling revenues because nobody's buying the paper like they used to.
And they're not there to give it out for free.
I agree
Obviously,
with that.
They have to monetize it somehow.
And so the question is that, you know, you and I might be frustrated about access to it, but we understand that they have to monetize that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, but are you okay with having a gazillion ads coming at you then?
That is kind of the question.
Okay.
I mean, it's got to come out from somewhere.
Right.
You know, either 100,000 pop-ups or you just have to pay to get in. I don't know, of the two, thinking about it, I'd probably rather just have the firewall, just pay it once and get in and not have to worry about it.
Interesting.
I do not like them pop-ups.
So how do you feel about television then? I mean, are you one that watches regular TV, or are you more the subscriber-based television that doesn't have advertising?
Well, I get around to by TiVoing everything, and then when I sit down to watch it, I just zap right through the commercials.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So a
little of both is my actual answer.
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, and that's the thing, right? So if you could just have like one ad that pops up, and then you could, you know, either watch it or get rid of it or whatever, and then go read the article, I think most people would be okay with that. The problem is that there's not enough money with that one ad to do that. So and even things like YouTube. I mean, YouTube has a hard time with this too, because you go watch a YouTube video and everybody is like, they want to watch the video, and you're trying to get away from, you know, and now they've got this ad that runs in front of most everything, and then they got the little button that says skip 3, 2, 1, and then everybody's waiting for that to count down so you can skip the 30-second commercial in 5 seconds, right? So I'm not sure what the value to all of this is, and I think everybody's trying to figure it out themselves. And I'm just looking for insight too. I mean, you've been around,
or they can make better commercials that we'd be more interested in watching. A commercial doesn't have to be a tune-out.
All right, so explain a little bit more. I mean, you think about something if they starts great and it's comedic or whatever. That you're
well, the obvious example is the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Where they pour all these money into these wild, wacky, creative commercials, and it's just considered to be a part of the whole experience.
And people do tune in. A lot of people who don't even like to watch football tune in to watch the commercials.
That's right. I mean, usually after the Super Bowl, the day after, in addition to all the analysis about the actual game, there will be a couple of articles comparing and analyzing the commercials.
Right.
Which ones were the best, which were the worst, which did the best job of pitching the product, whatever.
Right. So you're thinking that attitude should be taken to all of these places so that people are willing to watch the commercials.
Well, of course, what they'll probably say is they don't have the time or money or resources to do that with all the commercials. Plus, sometimes they say, well, we got to give the sponsor what they want. You know, I find it hard to believe, though, that all these sponsors really want these terrible commercials.
Because if you're sitting there watching, you're waiting for your YouTube video to come up, and you're waiting for the skip button to you know, so that you can click and skip
come on.
Yeah, I know that's exactly, you know, and I don't even pay attention to the ad that's running because all I'm paying attention to is the countdown on the skip button. I will agree with you though. I think if commercials were more entertaining, but how do you? I think. You know, and I'm thinking about like all the drug commercials that we see nowadays, right? There's so many regulations with those drug commercials. Like they got to list all the side effects. You know, you're going to have projectile vomiting, and you could die from this, and all this other stuff that they got to list, right?
Yeah.
So I would imagine that, but you're right. Maybe they need to spend a couple more dollars and make them more creative, because if they were more creative, you might watch them.
Well, years ago, there was an effort, you know, some of these car commercials where the guy starts mumbling all the fine print stuff at the beginning or at the end of the commercial. I love when they do it at the beginning. It's like, well, let's get it over with now so we can do the commercial, and nobody listens anyway.
Yes.
But a few years ago, there was an effort to get the government to allow them. Apparently, there's some government regulation. They have to do that.
Right.
They have to have that fine print, what I call the fine print stuff in there. But what they tried a few years ago was to make it so where you could just refer to a website, and you could go to the website to get all the fine print. But for some reason, Congress shot that down. They wouldn't allow it. I don't know why.
Interesting. Yeah, because, I mean, the last thing that we all want to watch is boring commercials. So it is interesting that is that way. But so I'm not sure. I'm kind of like you. I'm kind of getting to the point where I will buy the subscriptions for these different places. But you could get, I mean, the kind of reading that I do, oh my goodness, I could spend hundreds of dollars a month on subscriptions to things.
Oh, sure.
You know, so I'm not sure if that's the total answer. I'm not against advertising. I just think that it should be done in a way that's, like you said, maybe entertaining. You know, or even if there's click-throughs were embedded in the article.
Yeah.
I always pick on some of the things that we do, for example, like recipes, you know, National Day Calendar. People love to click on our recipes that we have listed, right? It takes them to other websites. I don't know if there's a way that could be monetized in a way that those other websites would pay for those too. I suppose there is.
Yeah,
I'm saying that because I know that.
Shouldn't they pay us for linking to their site?
See, so
boy, we open up a can of worms there.
So that is true. We have, if we go that route, right? But is there a way that maybe news articles, sources, whatever, could use that type of thing instead of regular advertising, and then get monetized that way? I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing out there. I'd love to hear other people's opinions on that, by the way. So, all right, everybody, after the break, we will be talking to the creator of the Rat Racer. You'll want to come back for that.
Right now, 33.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. SuperTalk 1270.
From our studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we want to thank all the people who follow us around the country, across the country and around the world, I should say, on the Blueberry Network, on the Tech Podcast Network, if it's Tech, it's here. We're on the Roku, TuneIn, Apple TV, iTunes, and also our own app, Radio Pup, all kinds of places that you can catch us live, or if you want to hear a rerun, I guess you could say. That's an old term now, isn't it, Jim? Rerun, yeah. But if you want to...
We call them encore performances.
Encore performances, there we go. If you want to hear an encore performance later on, you can do that. So the next gentleman we have on the show is very diverse, is the best way I can describe him. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of his profile here. Rich Kronfeld has been an entrepreneur all his life. He sold tickets to watch movies as a kid in his parents' garage. He wrote and sold screenplays in Hollywood. He's appeared in 2 Paramount films, produced and starred in a series he co-created on Comedy Central. He's also an Emmy Award-winning writing producer of a children's series that was on the Cubo or Ion Networks. He even entered and won a demolition derby. So this guy is very diverse. He's also does a lot for humanity across the world, working for Habitat for Humanity and the Jewish disaster response team. So now Rich just started an alternate vehicle company. So going from entertainment to technology here, very interesting. And his background in the entertainment industry taught him the importance of showmanship and his new ideas. And joining us now on the Tech Ranch, Rich Kronfeld. Rich, how you doing?
Hi. I don't. Thank you. I don't know if I can live up to that introduction. That was great. Thank you. That was very nice.
Well, it's very interesting that you have basically an entertainment background and you're moving into technology. I love your story. I'm the exact opposite. I've been in technology all my life, and now I seem to be moving into the space that you just are leaving. So I find that very interesting. Yeah. You and I may have to have a conversation after the show sometime. So, but you're the creator of the Rat Racer, and that's RHAT Racer. Why don't you tell people about what this is, and then we're going to get into the inspiration you have behind it.
Absolutely. So it is a 3-wheel vehicle, all electric. It is about the same weight as like a larger size motorcycle, and you sit in it sort of recumbent style, and you pedal it like a bicycle. But instead of going bicycle speed, you go car speed or motorcycle speed when you pedal it. So when you pedal it, you go as fast as a car. So it's meant to go on the highway. So it's sort of to go where no bike has gone before.
So
and go ahead.
Go ahead.
And it has safety features. It's got seat belts and an airbag and a roll cage and motorcycle grade lights. It's sort of legislated or categorized as a motorcycle by the government, which is technically what it is an electric motorcycle, 3-wheel motorcycle.
Okay. So when you're pedaling then, are you pedaling to power a battery? So you're basically pedaling like a generator that's inside this thing that then powers. Very interesting.
That's absolutely right. You are pedaling in the first prototype, you're pedaling 2 flywheel AC flywheel generators, and the system has a mechanical transmission in it from a bicycle, an in-hub transmission called a New Vinci. That's conventional use for bicycles, and the computer adjusts or shifts the gears on that continuously variable transmission. And that gives you this sensation of getting harder to pedal and easier to pedal, like you're going uphill or downhill.
Okay.
Because you're pedaling a generator, you're not connected directly to the wheels.
Right.
In the production version, you will be able to either follow the actual terrain. The system will interpret the actual terrain and adjust the pedal resistance accordingly, or you'll be able to run a fitness program like you would on a machine. In the gym. So you'd be able to run a program completely independent of the actual terrain as you're driving.
Interesting.
That's what you wanted to do.
So the first thing that comes to mind with your vehicle is the hill part of it. So we live in an area where, in town here where we have a ton of hills. How does the Rat Racer perform on those?
Well, my prototype is underpowered, so the production car will have an 11 kilowatt-hour lithium battery. The first prototype has about a 4.2 kilowatt-hour battery.
Okay.
So it's underpowered, so it doesn't do great. The first prototype.
Okay.
The production car will be better. to give people a sense of scale, a Tesla, like the top of the line Tesla, I think has about a 100 kilowatt hour battery.
Okay.
And it's also a much heavier vehicle.
Sure.
The Rat Racer weighs in the neighborhood of 600 pounds.
Okay. So when I'm assuming that you can charge this up at home or at your office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
And is it just a standard type of plug that you have, or do you have to rewire your house to do this, or how does that work?
No, it'll be, well, the first prototype is very basic, because it's the first prototype. So it's just a standard, AC outlet.
Okay.
That my first prototype has. I expect that the production car will be, you'll be able to plug it into a standard outlet, and you'll be able to plug it into maybe a 220. I think most electric vehicle manufacturers now probably have their own proprietary connectors. I'm not sure, like for the production car, we will have some ability for it to be able to plug into, like a charging station out in, like a public charging station.
Yep.
For sure.
But if you wanted to, you could charge it at your house through just a standard electrical outlet.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And again, because it has a much smaller battery than a larger, like, sedan EV, it will charge faster, and it won't take as much energy to get to a full charge.
So if I were to...
when you pedal, you do generate some current that goes back into the system to extend your range.
And that leads me right into where we were going. So if I decided not to pedal this, if I just want to sit in there and ride this, and it was basically a flat terrain, how far could I, be expected to go?
Our first prototype, you'd probably go about 40 miles.
Okay.
If you were, the funny thing about range is, and I assume this is probably true for gas vehicles too, is that there are so many variables that it's just funny to me that they can even put like a MPG or range on cars, because the wind speed, the temperature, the terrain, the hills. So it's hard to determine, but you have to average everything out. So if you were going on a nice flat surface with no headwind or a tailwind, it's going to be a lot more than if you're driving, with a heavy headwind and up a lot of hills. And that's true for all vehicles.
Right.
My production car, we're shooting for a range of about 100 miles.
Okay.
So there is a nice electric motorcycle out now called Zero Motorcycles, and they'll have a similar drivetrain to what we will have, and they've got a couple different models, and their biggest model has, I think that their posted range is about 150 miles.
Okay. So then we throw in the fact that we're pedaling. So how much of an extended range can you get if you pedal your distance? Well,
I don't have numbers on that, and again, that's going to be extremely variable.
Sure.
It's going to depend how hard are you pedaling. Are you doing a really strenuous workout, and are you going really fast? Because if you're going 75 miles an hour, the percentage that you'll contribute to the system will be X. But if you're going, 20 miles an hour, the percentage that you'll contribute will be much higher.
Yes.
So again, it's very dependent on how hard you work, how fast you go. The goal of the company over time is going to be to constantly increase that efficiency and that percentage as much as possible with technology. For example, our prototype uses a lot of mechanical parts in the generator, and when we build the production car, we're going to convert as much of that as possible to electronic systems to increase our efficiency. So, you might be able to contribute in the prototype maybe 3 or 4% to the overall energy profile. And in the production car, maybe you could contribute 7 or 8% to the overall profile.
Okay.
So it may be the most efficient highway vehicle ever because it's light, it's got 3 wheels, and by adding a little bit of energy to it as you're driving, it's kind of like, putting a little bit of gasoline in your car as you drive it.
Right.
So,
all right, Rich, we hate to do this to you, but we're running out of time here. So Kronfeld Motors, Kronfeld Motors.com. If you want to find out more about Rich's innovative idea towards transportation. If you want to order one on his website, it shows that he's sold out already. So, but I'm betting that you're creating a list for people who are interested in the future, aren't you, Rich?
Yes.
All right. Very good, everybody.
Yes,
we'll be back shortly with the new Facebook customer chat, as well as how Amazon's going to help you in the office. Come on back.
Right now, 33. The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on SuperTalk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we'll be getting to the Bitcoin billionaires in a little bit, along with the automation that's going to be threatening over 800 million jobs. So a couple of interesting things we'll be getting to in a little bit here. So, Jim, Elon Musk promised that he was going to deliver the world's largest lithium-ion battery to South Australia a couple months ago. And he promised that he would do this in 100 days or it would be free.
Okay.
So, because South Australia, they've been having a ton of... So, they run a lot on green energy down there.
Okay,
so
sure.
Solar, wind, okay. And the challenge is that when it's not so windy outside, the power grid suffers. It diminishes greatly. In fact, they had an outage over a day here not that long ago before this conversation took place.
I thought they had a lot of wind down there.
Well, they do. But if it's not windy for a few days, they have no place to store the power is the problem, right? So,
I always wondered about that.
So Elon Musk has, one of his companies actually produces, Tesla actually produces batteries as well. A lot of people may not know that, but he's got a big battery plant as well. And part of it is to be used in power grids. So he set up this huge battery that wind and solar can charge up. And then when it's not so breezy outside or whatever, they have that as kind of a battery backup to the entire grid. It's kind of a crazy thing. And he got it set up in 63 days. 63 days. I'm just saying that because if we had any type of government initiative here, there would have to have been, I don't know how many years of studies and everything else to make that happen, but he was actually able to get this thing set up and implement it on the grid down there in 63 days.
Right.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
And it works?
Yeah, it works.
Oh, good.
Works amazingly well. So, yeah, that's crazy. So, whether you like Elon or not, I'm kind of on the fence about. I mean, he's got some great ideas.
I'm very neutral about the guy. I don't see any compelling reason to hate him.
Yeah. I guess there's some people in the space industry that aren't real excited about what he's doing because he does promise a lot of stuff.
Well, he's talking about private space travel.
Yes, well, and
which a lot of people in the government don't like that idea.
They don't like the idea, and actually he's subcontracting now with NASA to deliver things in space. So his SpaceX program is actually taking care of that. So it's interesting, but anyway, hats off to Elon for making that possible, and congratulations to South Australia because now they have a power grid that is, much better than they had before.
Well,
so
throw another shrimp on the Barbie.
I guess so.
What if the Barbie's powered by?
It might be powered by electricity now since they can do that, right? So, HMD, and I'm only bringing this up because I just dropped $900 on my new smartphone, which I love, by the way. I have the Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy A+.
Is that the one you have right there?
Right here.
Oh, right here.
It's got the little note feature, so I got the little pen that pops out.
Oh, you have a little leather pouch for it too.
And then you can actually write right on the screen here, Jim. I'm just going to write right there. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So I can take notes, and I actually use it quite a bit. I'm surprised at how often I use the note-taking feature. I can't read my own handwriting, but Obviously, Android can because it translates it and makes words out of it. So I guess that's a good thing. But Nokia, the Nokia 2 phone that just came out, $99. $99.
Okay.
Runs Android 7.1. It's got an 8-megapixel camera. It's got Gorilla Glass on it. It's got a Snapdragon quad-core processor in it. $99.
20 years ago, we had desktops that couldn't do all that stuff.
I know. 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I bet you could go back 5 years and find desktops that have less power than this phone. So anyway, it works on AT&T, and T-Mobile does not work on Verizon and Sprint, but these are available online and at major retailers across the country already. So you can go in and buy an unlocked phone and then use that as opposed to, so if you've lost your phone, if you have a broken screen on your phone, and instead of spending a couple $100 to get the screen fixed, maybe just go get a new phone.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out at you because for $99, that's a pretty good deal.
That's not too shabby.
I mean, it's something that I might even go buy it just to have a backup phone with me, because you can always pull the SIM card out of the phone you have now and drop it into a new phone, and away you go. So somebody who travels a lot or something that needs a backup, maybe that would work. I don't know, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there because $99, you can almost afford to lose that if you do sometimes.
And, of course, the way it's arranged, you wind up paying for it as you go along, right?
Well, you still have the monthly fees associated with your. But, like the phone I have now, I mean, I didn't drop $900 on this phone at one time. I mean, there's no advantage to doing that. I would love to pay for my phone right away when I go, right? But they have these contracts at $30 a month or whatever over 30 months, and it's the exact same price as if you buy the phone straight out. So why would you not do that? But they know that they have you then for the next 2 years or 2.5 years with their phone.
Well, that's the idea,
So they get you kind of locked in. The nice thing about buying a phone like this is that you're not locked into any type of contract or whatever, and you can switch phones whenever you want to.
That I like.
Yeah, or if you lose it, if I almost feel like I pay an extra either $8 or $9 a month for insurance on my phone because I'm afraid that I'm going to drop it or break it or something. So I pay the extra insurance on that. So it's not even, and if I had a $100 phone, Jim, I wouldn't even think anything of it. I wouldn't carry insurance on it.
I wouldn't either.
I know I can run right back down to a big box store wherever I'm at in the country and pick another one up for $99. So why wouldn't you do that?
$3 a month over 30 months.
I know.
You're fine.
I know. That's exactly right. So there's a lot of advantages to that.
I like the idea though of being able to change your service.
Yes. Yeah.
Anytime you want.
Anytime you want to. Yeah, you wouldn't have to be locked into any long-term contracts. So Facebook. Customer chat service. So you and I use Messenger a lot. In fact, that's pretty much the primary way you and I contact each other.
More so than email
or the phone.
Yeah,
it's kind of amazing, isn't it? Right. So they're actually taking that Messenger service, and you can add it to your website now. So if you have a website, a company, and you want to have the ability to message people, or open up a chat with somebody, and I mean, this has been around for a long time already, the ability, and I'm sure you've gone to websites where you've opened up a chat window and you start talking to the other person or whatever, but this is actually through Facebook. So it's Facebook's Messenger chat. So you have the ability to maybe you leave a message to somebody's Messenger. Let's say I'm the company and I have to go investigate something for you, and I don't want to keep you on the chat window for the next hour or two while I go to my superior or whatever and get an answer back. Well, here it goes right back to your Facebook Messenger. I think it's genius, actually, on Facebook's part. Of course, it's Facebook's way of getting integrated into more and more business,
right?
And I'm sure they'll figure out ways to monetize that as we move forward.
I mean, it's brilliant on their part.
It is brilliant on their part, and it's great. It's a great tool, I think, for businesses. I'm actually considering using it myself. I'm going to investigate a little bit further and check it out. So I find that interesting. Amazon's next job for Alexa, speaking of business, is helping you out in your office. So their next move, we all have, and I know you know this already since you're at our office quite a bit now.
Yeah.
But we have Alexa all over the place in our office.
Yeah,
We've been using
the big
it.
one. You got the little one.
Yeah,
the little hockey puck thing there.
We've been using it in our office already for, I'll bet you, over a year. I have one in my office too that I just say, "Add Alexa, add Jim," As everybody's Alexa just goes off right now.
Yeah, all right.
Add Jim, 2 o'clock. Let's see if I can get everybody's Alexa to do this. Alexa, add Jim Walsh, 2 p.m. Actually, cancel that, Alexa. I'm going to try this again. Alexa, add the Tech Ranch, 11 a.m. on Mondays to your calendar.
I like it.
Now, Alexa will be playing us through your Alexa because we have that option, actually. You can listen to the Tech Ranch through your Alexa. We just checked that out the other day, as a matter of fact. Who was the gentleman that you were, who else had the podcast?
Perry Simon. He has a daily podcast called The Evening Bulletin, where he just comes up with little oddball news items. And he said, Alexa, play the latest Evening Bulletin podcast.
Yes, you got to add the word
right up. Yeah,
you got to add the word podcast.
Yeah,
man,
play the Evening Bulletin podcast.
Because we tried that with the Tech Ranch, and we said, Alexa, play the Tech Ranch, and it came up and didn't know what we wanted to do. If you say, Alexa, play the Tech Ranch podcast,
right,
came right up.
Yeah.
So I was impressed with that too. So
you still have to, the wording has to be right.
Yes, yeah, you got to ask the question appropriately with that. So, but anyway, Amazon is going to be moving into your office. They're going to basically allow you to, it's going to be an assistant. I'm reading through the notes real quick. You're going to be able to report problems with equipment. You're going to be able to order new supplies like you do with your home device right now. Of course, the office calendar, and probably the big thing is conferencing. So I've been trying to do this already, and you can actually make phone calls with your Alexa. If you pair it up with your phone, your smartphone right now, and you're able to actually say, Alexa, call whoever, and Alexa will do that for you. You can have your smartphone turned off after you've paired it with it and given it its contacts, and it will make phone calls for you, even if you don't have your smartphone on or around the Alexa. It's pretty amazing, actually. And now they're going to take this to the conference room, which I think is pretty cool, because Alexa has a great speaker and great mic array on them, so I think they will be a great assistant to conference rooms. So I'm pretty excited about that too. So, man, do we go through time fast on this show.
We fly through the show.
Kind of crazy. After the break, everybody, we'll be talking about the Winklevoss twins. These are the twins that Facebook bought out because they claimed that they were actually one of the originators of Facebook, and what they did with their money. You're going to love this story coming back.
Right Now 33. On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. SuperTalk1270.com.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
So, Facebook has inadvertently created the first billionaire or Bitcoin billionaires. Yes. So this is the story. So Mark Zuckerberg, many of you know who Mark Zuckerberg is. You know, the founder of Facebook.
Yep.
So there was a lawsuit back a few years back, and in fact, it finished up in 2013. The Winklevoss twins, and this is Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, that went to school with Mark Zuckerberg, and they actually co-created Facebook. And then Mark kind of, took the idea and kind of ran with it a little bit. And I'm not really sure. He kind of, I don't want to say he did some shady things. I guess I don't know enough about the story. I remember watching The Social Network, which is a movie based loosely on the story.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, and as time went on, of course, these two brothers were Mark kind of went his own direction with his premise of how Facebook would work. So anyway, so the Winklevoss twins sued Zuckerberg, won the lawsuit, got $65 million for this, okay? They took $11 million of their winnings and invested it in Bitcoin. At the time, Bitcoin was $130. Today, as of this broadcast, it is $11,364. So they've taken that $11 million
share.
For one Bitcoin is $11,000. Again, they bought it at $130 4 years ago.
Right.
So they have, that's incredible. Incredible growth. And they took $11 million of their dollars and put it into this. So they've turned their $11 million into over $1 billion. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So anyway, I guess whether you like the Winklevoss twins or not, they are probably the first Bitcoin billionaires that we know of. Now,
I love that name.
I'm sure that the people who invented Bitcoin, I'm sure, are loving every minute of this too, because I'm sure they have their own nice little nest egg stashed someplace themselves. But these are the first people that we know that are actual billionaires because of it.
Well, bring us up to speed again how Bitcoin works, what exactly it is.
So Bitcoin is a virtual currency.
Yeah.
It has no government involved in it whatsoever. It's you and me. And it's anybody in the world. You can live in Nigeria, in South Austria, or Australia, or wherever you want to be, and you can buy Bitcoin. It's called blockchain, is what it is. That's kind of the software behind it. And there are other virtual currencies, of course, that are now really starting to. They're emerging about as fast as flies do on a nice spring day. But so there's a lot of interest in this, of course, and there's a couple others that are starting to do okay. But Bitcoin is the king. And at one time you could actually, and you can still do this, you can mine for Bitcoin, but
how does that work when mining?
So I don't know. We need to, you know what we should do, actually? I know a couple people who are really into this, and I should just have them come on, because I don't understand the mining process as well as I should. What I do know is that they use your computer to log the transactions, for lack of a better way to, and keep that blockchain going. So it allows you to, and in exchange for the use of your computer, I'm just trying to give you the very basic thing, they pay you with Bitcoin.
Now, you say it's virtual currency, so you can buy stuff with
it.
How does that work?
So there are places. So you can first of all,
redeem it for real money?
Yeah, you can change it in for cash. So there are actually Bitcoin ATMs.
Really?
And you go in there and you can exchange your Bitcoin for cash. Yeah. There are hotels across the country that use Bitcoin. One of my projects that I'm working on right now will actually use Bitcoin as one currency. You can use regular money and any other thing too, but part of the merchant services that I'll be using as part of this new project uses one of the forms of payment is Bitcoin. So it's becoming more and more accepted, across the world. The challenge with it, though, is that it's anonymous. So that, when you make a transaction with Bitcoin, nobody really knows who you are. I mean, that's a challenge. That's also, that's a good thing for some people. It's a challenge for others.
Well, I can see the IRS having a real problem with
that. They have a real problem with this, and of course, anybody who's dealing in illegal wares. This is a way that they can make transactions.
Tailor-made for the black market.
It kind of is. So, and then that's why everybody. But even hedge funds and things now are starting to invest in Bitcoin. So
last week, the Big Bang Theory, the TV show.
Yes.
They did a whole episode about Bitcoin where a couple of the guys had supposedly bought into Bitcoin early on and were getting ready to collect a big amount of money from it.
Interesting.
But it didn't work out because Sheldon did something. You have to watch.
I'll have to watch that episode.
Yeah, go CBS.com. This is not a commercial, but if you want to see it,
right.
That's where you go.
I'll, in the next couple of weeks, I'll get somebody on about Bitcoin, because right now, I mean, I did a piece on Bitcoin about 3 or 4 weeks ago for CBS, as a matter of fact, and at that time it was $7,000. And now it's 11, so it's gone up $4,000 of Bitcoin in less than a month.
Now, do you have to have? What's the minimum you can buy into?
I don't think there is a minimum. You can go onto an exchange and put $50 into it if you want to.
Okay, I might do that.
So I might do that too.
Well, how much better can it get? You look at something like this.
I said the same thing at $7,000. I have no idea where the bubble ends, but I thought the same thing. I'm like, this has got to end pretty soon here, and now here it is again, and now it's at $11,000, and I'm banging myself on the head again that I didn't get involved.
I can see myself buying into it tomorrow, and 2 weeks from today, Bitcoin bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. So, and I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
But anyway, at this time, and I don't know if the Winklevoss twins are going to cash in.
Winklevoss, I just love that name.
do they cash in now, or
I would.
I mean, I would probably cash in, keep my same $11 million investment in there, and put the rest in the bank. I mean, that's probably what I would do.
I'd probably keep a pittance there. They say the key to investing is to diversify your investments.
Right.
Put a little bit here,
that's exactly right.
A little bit here, and
so anyway, I find that interesting. So automation threatens 800 million jobs. Now we talk about job disruption a lot on this show, and of course, technology is really changing the way things are going to operate. So
certainly in my line of work,
including us, we're going to have AIs in here doing our show for us pretty soon. So, but that's kind of what's going on. So there's a study that was compiled by the McKinsey Global Institute, and it says that the advances in AI and robotics will have a drastic effect on everyday working lives, comparable to the shift away from agricultural societies during the Industrial Revolution. In the U.S. alone, between 39 and 73 million jobs stand to be automated, making up about a third of the total workforce, just in the United States alone. But this is what's interesting about this. They're saying that these jobs are going to be eliminated. They're not saying that jobs are going away.
No.
In fact, it's the exact opposite. As an example, this study examines the effect of personal computers in the U.S. since 1980.
Yeah.
And it's finding that the invention of personal computers has led to the creation of 18.5 million new jobs. So innovation, when you drive down the price of
anything really.
I mean, so automation drives down the price of production, right?
Yes.
So
computers
in the cell phone. So I'm gonna pick on this cell phone I have in my hand right now. So a cell phone, if you were to buy one a few years ago, it cost $4,000.
Right.
It wasn't that long ago that a cell phone cost $4,000, right? Now, like I said, this one that I have in my hand cost me $900, but the one that Nokia I was just talking about earlier in the show cost $99. $99, right? Not a lot of people can afford a $4,000 phone, but all kinds of people can afford the $99 phone.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you go from having maybe a couple thousand people in the world having a $4,000 phone to millions of people having the $99 phone, right? So when that happens, then all those people who are making these phones now, you're creating demand. You're just creating all this other stuff for the new devices coming out, and then the new things that come out because of that. I mean, basically, Lyft and Uber do not exist unless there's a smart device. Right?
You're right. Yeah.
And how many? I mean, I'm sure we could open up our phones and look at all these different companies that exist now simply because we have a smartphone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's created tens of millions of new jobs.
I mean, the app makers, people who make apps for phones.
Unbelievable.
Got to have a phone to have it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So it's amazing what the technology will do. So if you're my age or older, which is getting old now, I guess, you probably don't have to worry a lot about the automation part of things that are going on. But if you're younger, you probably have to be concerned that you're going to be disrupted in a job. But just know that there's going to be probably better opportunities for you, and that's what you have to just.
I mean, if you're a buggy whip salesman today, and the new horseless carriage is coming in, if you're young enough, you can retrain.
And it might even be, and the thing is that we have the tools to retrain now, don't we? We don't have to really even go back to school. There's all kinds of ways that you can train yourself online. You're an example of that yourself.
I was saying to somebody last week, it might have been on the show, I don't know. I said I got a bachelor's degree from a school where I have never actually set foot on the campus.
Right. And you did this, I won't say you did it all part-time.
No.
But
I did it through a satellite. They have a satellite campus right here in town.
Right.
They're affiliated with, I'm talking about Minot State.
Right.
And they're affiliated with the whole university system in the state.
Right.
And I took my courses through Bismarck State College.
Yeah.
But I got a bachelor's degree.
So there's all kinds of opportunities there. There's no doubt about that. So, well, Jim, unbelievable. The show's over with again. Everybody have a great week and drive safe out there today.
Yeah.